At the outskirts of Maharashtra's district Amravati, adjacent to Madhya Pradesh, wedged between two primeval ranges, the Satpuras of Maharashtra and the Vindhyas of Madhya Pradesh is Melghat. Miles of emerald slopes are interspersed with tiny little settlements of Korkos. The land of the Korko tribals. Korko means wanderers as per linguistics. Usually found as a cluster of 20-25 huts called dhana. The huts are very orderly with their elevated plinths, invitingly neat and clean. This dhana has bamboo walls plastered with murum and clay. Their sloping thatches are clad with grass and teak foliage. The door too is of bamboos, thickly sewn together. The dwelling consists of 3 adjoining rooms in a row. The outermost room is called Kambar, containing chidi, which is essentially a grain store. The middle room or the Ad is the kitchen, in the center of which is the central post, which is their god. Each year, a strong long bamboo shoot is ceremonially brought home and worshipped together with the pillar god. The Korko houses are joined together like our modern row houses. In the front yard, an earthen pail is kept on a tripod, ready to quench your thirst, a peculiarity of a Korko household. Cleanliness is the hallmark of a Korko dwelling. Korko is a dialect, never found written in a script. The language has a generous sprinkling of Hindi words.
सरपंच रामकरण खानू पटोरकर गावा लोकसंख्या 1100 दो बुरा संख्या 250 दो कोरकू का भाषा कोरकू मांडी दो हिंदी बरिसा मांडी का वापर टाका दो जाति पंचायत सगड़ा बबजी के गोलाकू वा चावड़ी तू वा दो दुनी का तिवारा का निर्णय दायवा गावा बारे नाड़ी अड़चन दे कभी निर्णय सेबे को दायवा.
The Korkos do not seem to believe in deity worship, for they have no temples. Some rock or even a pebble is given a name and is considered to be God. Their main god, Mutoba or Mutawa, is the village god, usually installed right opposite the chieftain's house. Barring this, there is hardly any deity. The best time of the year is naturally the harvest. The festive time is from Ganapati to Diwali. Up on the hill beyond town limits is their god Keda, down under a tree, Teklej. Day prior to the Sera, Keda is worshipped. Women from Gond tribe are specially invited to decorate the facades of a Korko house. With motifs depicting sun, moon, and the sacred Trishula, the trident. Music and dance is an integral part of their lives, a respite from their drudgery. People from small villages come together prior to Holi, weekly bazaar. In their peculiar dwarf bullock carts with smaller wheels called Korkunch, they spend a delightful day there and then return home. Yet another round to the weekly bazaar is reserved for choosing new clothes for Holi. The Fagun infuses a general feeling of well-being, marked with a shopping spree. the biggest of festivals, which is celebrated as a social equality day. It is followed by a 5-day music dance orgy with each and every individual, young and old, tapping to the beat of tolak and swaying to the strains of the flute. Relatives at work away from home make it an occasion to visit and meet their folks and catch up with the happenings back home. When the village chief, the police patil, ignites the sacred holy flame. Visit each other and hugging friends, touching the feet of elders, thus strengthening the unity and fraternity in the village. Youngsters celebrate the days following Holi, singing, dancing and collecting fagua, that is, grains as well as cash, and getting drenched in the showers of affection from the village. On the first Tuesday after Holi, in order to fulfill their vows and for the well-being of the society in general, Meghnad, the son of Ravana, and also Kumbhakarna are worshipped. The essentially tribal Korkus seem to have opted for a more civil style of dressing with men, mostly never discarding their turbans, wearing a dhoti and a shirt or a kurta. Women are in a Gujarati style sari and a blouse. Korku women are very fond of jewelry. A range of silver trinkets is available as per their demand. Tagli, hachi, around her neck, fully the nose ring, and karnafuli the earrings, pedya above her elbow, waistband around her waist, and toda on her feet adorn her womanhood and make her stand out with happiness shining on her face. The arm and foreheads are amply tattooed, belying their tribal instinct. Display a reasonably liberal outlook, living both ways, in joint families as well as in nuclear families. But a marriage within the clan is strictly a taboo. While women slog all day round the clock, the men are often seen chatting in a cluster on the front otla, enjoying a pot of hookah. Mountainous, arid land and a perpetual dry spell cause a multifold addition to a Korku farmer's slog. Still, undaunted, he manages to turn the land green, putting all his might in farming, They cultivate the land thoroughly and get a yield of grains like wheat, bajra, jowar, and also some vegetables. The landless ones have to do with hunting or poultry. Another obvious source is the abundant jungle they explore and collect items like mahua flowers, which are indispensable for tribal wines. These flowers are collected, dried, and brought to the weekly bazaar, along with chips of jungle wood, the fuel tied up in stacks to be sold there. All these have become cottage industries, mostly dominated by the women folk. The Korkus have their distinctive judicial system too. They have a village panchayat with a mukhya who regularly meets to solve the problems like minor or major clashes and altercations, as well as ostracizations or reinduction into the clan. The panchayat also plays a major role in carrying out festivals and ceremonies, etc. These matters are generally settled unanimously as the chief is hardly ever opposed.
जब आजिन साहब होते ना क्या वो गांव के बारे चीज विचार रहा छोटो फसल नुकसान दे लगे इन्हें के बारे कुछ घले विचारा लेके बिन्नांग दे वाले के हां गाजी को गांव दा हटा दिन तला दावी कुछ गांव होए जो ऊपर दावी ने कि ऊपर से परेशान गोगलन भी परेशान हां मगर देगा गवर्नमेंट जरूर कबूल हुआ जा देगा अच्छा हां
The surnames prevalent in Korkus are Bilavikar, Mavaskar, Kaltekar, Zavarkar, Savalkar, Zambekar, Patorkar, Dhande, Thakre, Vevasi, etc. Like all the other tribes, Korkus too nurture blind beliefs and superstitions. To deal with ill health or divine breath, they have their own priests called Bhumka, with supposed power to fend off all ill by sweeping a peacock feathered broom over the afflicted person and chanting holy verses. The ritual, or for that matter any ritual, always ends with the generous round of Sidhu, the Mahua wine. Every single ceremony ends with a sumptuous round of Mahua wine. Besides, the Korkus have their own doctor, the Padial, who has a bag full of herbal medicines to deal with the widest range of diseases, in addition to the enormous inherent power to combat and defeat even death. The Bhumkas and the Padials are immensely respected and are paid in kind for their invaluable services during harvest and, of course, festivals. The dead are buried and water sprinkled on the tomb. Epidemics and diseases are also dealt in a very special way. A worship of Chipamadma, the god, is performed out of the village limits to pacify the evil. A ritual called Bulamda is also performed, sprinkling salt water over everything to be protected. Besides, everyone is made to drink it too. The Korkus are a friendly clan. They have a very good working relationship with clans like milkmen, blacksmiths, and the like. They have their own tools like a cell or mortar and a toku, a pestle. They have a stone slab grinder called jati. A new baby is brought into this world by Dai, a local midwife. On the 5th day after the birth, Omol Puja is performed for the well-being of the baby and the new mother. For this puja, a coconut, dried date, almond, turmeric, kumkum, mahua wine, and fish also is essential.
तुम्हारे नाम से नींबू छोड़े अगरबत्ती लगा रहे छठी माई भाई माई का नाम से और बच्चे का तबीयत अच्छी रखने को होना बजरंग बली तुम्हारा नाम से सब.
Also before a forthcoming marriage ceremony, the major shopping is placed before Keda and a Muhurat Puja is performed. The delicious quiver of a new love culminates into the most romantic of all the ceremonies, a marriage. A Korku marriage is celebrated in an equally fitting environment, under a pavilion decorated with flowers and blooms. The Korkus are a deeply ritualistic clan. However, they're gradually coming out of their cocoon, thanks to the purposeful campaigns implemented by the government. These development projects include ashram shalas, health sub-centers, Anganwadis, and primary schools. The modern hospitals are now visited by more and more people, and the schools are filling up day by day, turning out a new literate generation which is more aware of the outside world and has stepped into the path of improvement. The scheme has also enabled them to have tiles on their roof. The region falls into the drought-prone zone, a fact that is not overlooked in the various government schemes. Water is made available to the farms deploying pumps. With the availability of water, the farmers are encouraged to try new cash crops like cotton. The cash inflow has, in turn, further improved the agricultural scene in the region. The government has introduced monopoly procurement scheme through the Tribal Development Corporation, under which the tribal farmers are given current market rate for their products. Korku women are fast becoming self-confident through the women empowerment programs like saving groups and small-scale industries. This is their first step towards self-reliance. Now that he has got a taste of hope for tomorrow, he is busy paving the way for the happiness of his offspring for the generations to come.